Kelsey from roughandtumblefarmhouse.com, and today I'm going to tell you about how I'm preparing to welcome goat kids here in Minnesota at the end of January. Now, kidding in winter is not something that I ever wanted to do. It's not something I ever plan to do again, but thanks to a very determined buck and some sketchy fencing on our part, here we are prepared to welcome some new goat kids sometime in the next 24 hours. So why do I not want a kid in winter? Because it's flipping cold out there. It is only going to be a high of 7 degrees today. So the biggest worry is making sure that those kids get dry immediately, because there is the risk, of course, of their body temperature dropping too much. If it drops too far, then of course they lose their reflex to suck and to nurse. Also, if they get too cold, it's harder to get their body temperature brought back up to where it should be. And of course, frostbite is a real risk. We have Nubian goats, and so they've got those big, beautiful long ears, but making sure that they are completely dry and warm, and same with their little legs, because ears, that's one thing that's awful to lose, but legs is really a very tough situation to be in. So it's going to be really important I get these babies dry as soon as they are born. So I'm going to show you the things that I have been doing to get ready for this birth. Unfortunately, our buck managed to escape more than once. And so it's really important, if you have some very feisty bucks like I have, if they do get out and get mixed in with your does, to make sure you mark every single time on the calendar when they get loose. So because of it happening more than once, him getting loose, we had a whole range of about 20 days where she could possibly give birth. It would have been nice in some aspects if she'd had her babies in early January, because we had some really nice warm days there. We were above freezing for like a week. But the positive thing about her giving birth later here at the end of the month is she did get bred sooner than I wanted her to, and I didn't know right away that she had even been bred. So this has given me a little over 2 months that I've really been able to take time gathering all the stuff that I needed to make sure I'm ready for this, and also really making sure I'm giving her the best nutrition I possibly can. So physically, she's going to hopefully be able to handle this birth. So let's take a look at the birthing kit that I have assembled here in my house, ready to go for, just in a moment's notice. I want to be able to grab this and head out the door, ready to help her if she needs it. It's a little bit dark down here. Sorry, this is in our walkout basement. So here I just have, this is one of my milk buckets for in the summer. So it's about, I think it's a 2-gallon milk bucket, which is mostly filled with towels. As you can see, just a bunch of rags. This is a bigger towel. This one I'll hopefully be able to just use to put underneath the babies when they're born, to keep the straw also as dry as possible. People like to use puppy pads for that, and I just kept forgetting to pick them up at the store. The other things here that I have that are important is this super lube. This stuff is great. You can get it from Premier One, and it's an antiseptic. So if there is the chance that I have to reach inside and do any repositioning, I can use this first, and it's going to make my hands sanitary. And then here I have a blow dryer, which I'm certainly going to be using as well. And I'm just realizing I have nail polish on just my thumb. My baby girl was interested in nail polish, so I was showing her how it worked the other day. The other thing I have is some black strap molasses, and this is just to give her an extra little boost of nutrition. So I'm going to run out and check on her here in just a little bit, and I'm going to bring in a bucket, pour the molasses in it, and add some water so that way it is ready to go. The other thing that I have here, this little 3-tiered tower, is what I use for storing my vet supplies in, is just in case we have any troubles. I do have some tubes for tube feeding and some syringes. I also have a bag of milk replacer in here. I do have colostrum already in the freezer, so that is ready to go. And then upstairs I have a heating pad in case we need to bring any little kids inside to get them warmed up. So this doe had about a 20-day range in which she could give birth. And I also wanted to make sure that I was really boosting her nutrition. But every morning I have her come out, eat her special ration, and then I would just kind of check her over, feel how her condition's improving, take a look at her bag, and feel for her ligaments, which I'll show you here in a little bit. And so it was this morning when I went out and gave her food. Right away I could tell she was looking kind of sunk, and then when I felt for her ligaments, they were completely gone. And so once a goat's ligaments are gone, usually within about 24 hours is when you can expect a kid to come. So today is a little bit stressful. It's only going to be a high of 7 degrees Fahrenheit today. My husband is gone all day, so it's just me and my 1.5-year-old little girl who's going to have to bundle up in her snowsuit and just come out there with me whenever this happens, if it happens before my husband gets home from work tonight. So I'm really kind of hoping that she either holds off until my daughter is napping, because then I'll have an 1.5 to 2 hours to help with this, or I hope she waits until tonight once my husband is home, and then I can be out there as long as I need to. So I'm going to have to film kind of quick outside. I film all my videos just on an iPod, and if any of you have an iPod iPad or an iPhone, you know, if you have it out exposed in the cold for too long, the battery life just sucks right out of it. So I'll show you the setup that I've made for her as a kidding pen, and we can take a look at her and I'll show you how she's behaving, show you where her ligaments kind of should be, and talk about that. And then hopefully the last part of this video is going to be a healthy, happy goat with some happy, healthy kids. So unfortunately the light's pretty low in the barn here. It's hard to see, but you can definitely see this is our mama, how she's really sunk. And then here, oh, you can hardly see it all, sorry. She's so dark and it's dark here, but right here along her tail is where we should feel her ligaments, and that we don't have any right now. So again, sorry it's pretty dark, especially with the bales, but so I just used straw bales and some hay bales to make a kidding pen over here for her. I also then of course have some hog panels in there. You can see over there, that is my little DIY goat warmer. I can link to that below that I made, so that I will have plugged in. And then down here, again, you can't see it because it's too dark. Oh, there you can kind of see it. I already have a heated water bucket ready for her, and this all has fresh bedding all set to go. So I'm keeping her in with everybody for now, just because it's super cold. If this was, you know, a nice, beautiful, warm spring day, I'd probably just put her in her own pen at this point, but just to keep her as calm as possible. She's a very needy goat and really likes to be with her herd mates. I mean, all goats are herd animals, but I think it would stress her out a lot more if I separated her from everybody, and plus she can just stay a little bit warmer with her herd mates. So just going to keep checking on her every hour probably here while she's still not, you know, clearly really starting to have those early contractions. As soon as that changes, then I will probably get her moved to her own little pen. I'll plug in that little goat hut, because even though the main purpose of it is to put heat kind of straight down that little area for the kids, it also just kind of warms the whole barrel, so it'll be a little warmer thing in there that she can lay against or stand against to get a little bit more heat. As soon as I see any, you know, discharge or anything like that coming out, and it's going to be time for me to get geared up, bring out all my supplies, and bring my baby girl out with me too, if she does have her babies here in the next about 8-9 hours, which I think could be pretty likely. I really am hoping though she'll wait. Please wait, Grace. All right, so it is about 3 days later. We have kids. It went about as well as it could, except for the fact that my goat is not being a particularly good mother. So I basically have bottle babies, but instead of feeding them on the bottle, I am feeding them on their mother. So I'm here right now to help them nurse. We had a doeling and a buckling, and the buckling is itty bitty, and she especially doesn't like him. So the girl, I think, the doeling she has been letting nurse, I think, and the doeling's big enough and strong enough to nurse on her own when I'm not here, but the buckling isn't. So I'm trying to decide what to do in terms of Gary the barn cat. He was here, he was present, midwife as usual to the new goats. But so I'm going to give them another few days here where I help them nurse. And then if she still isn't accepting them, I'm going to have to just milk her out and have bottle babies and put her up for sale, because I really have no time for bad mothers around here. We like to raise our kids on the dams. You can hear they're hungry. And I also like to milk share. So we're a family. You know, it's really important to us for kind of our holistic farm family goal is that we like to be able to go away for a night or for a weekend. And so having kids or calves that can stay with their mom so we don't have to milk is really important to us. So we will be selling this doe, unfortunately, but in the meantime, I'll show you the little babes that we had. So this is the buckling, who, as you can see, is beautiful but tiny. I mean, here's my hand. He's just an itty bitty little guy. I'm gonna see if I can get him over on his mom. Yeah, see, she just doesn't want anything to do with him. If I have his sister out, who's in here, she's in her little warmer. She lets the girl drink, but not this poor little buck. So I'm going to have to help him nurse here. So as you can see, they really like their little warming hut. They're able to get in and out of it on their own, which is wonderful. And truthfully, if I hadn't made this thing, I don't know that these babies would have survived with these cold temperatures. I think this is absolutely crucial to have some sort of little warming house. If you're going to be having temperatures below freezing, some sort of little warming thing like this is seriously crucial. The labor went pretty quickly, just like her first labor with her other twins from last year. The doe came out first. This one here, she came out, and you can see she's just, I mean, huge compared to her brother. When she came out, she did have one little hoof tucked back, but unfortunately her mom was pushing so fast and furious, I didn't have time to correct the hoof. I was able to kind of get my fingers in a little bit and help reposition at least a little. I'm just going to hold the mom here because the little girl's interested in nursing. And then the boy, he came out. I saw the next bag starting to come out, and he was out all of a sudden. I didn't even realize he'd been born until it was like, oh my gosh, there he is. He just came shooting right out. I think after having such a big doeling come through for that little buckling, he was able to slide right through. So one thing I would also advise if you're going to be having kids in the winter is I would say have at least 3 full-size bath towels in addition to as many little rags as possible. I ended up going back up to the house and getting more towels, and I also ended up pulling off my flannel shirt that I had underneath all my layers here and putting them on that because, I mean, if you're doing puppy pads, it might be a little different. I don't think those would be good for warmth, but so, you know, 1 towel or puppy pad to catch all that first liquid that's coming out with the baby, another one then to transfer them into when they're still pretty wet, and then a third one to put them in that's going to kind of keep them warm and dry. So it was just me down here. By some miracle, she went into labor just after my daughter went down for a nap. And so I had a blow dryer and all the towels. And so, you know, when the first kid came out, I got hers, you know, cleaned off pretty quick and set her by her mom, who was completely disinterested and still is pretty disinterested. And then I transferred her to a dryer towel and just kind of wrapped her up in that while the boy was born. And then I worked on him. And then I just used the blow dryer and towels and dried them off as best I could. I kind of did the method like if you have a newborn baby, when you're drying them off, typically you kind of keep them, or putting lotion on or anything, you keep them sort of wrapped in their towel and only expose the area you're drying. So that was kind of the strategy that I used. And it seemed to work. You know, everybody's alive. No one has any frostbite yet. They're getting a little adventurous. This little girl, we decided to name her Penelope just because it seemed like a cute name for her, and she's kind of the color, sort of a penny brown kind of color. And the little boy, his dad's name is Graham Cracker. He has a grandma named Marshmallow. So my sister suggested calling him Hershey. And I thought that was cute. But then when I thought of Hershey, then I also thought of the name Herschel, which to me just absolutely cracked me up. So I normally don't name babies until they're at least a few days old and seem like they're going to be surviving. And these two, you know, they might have to be bottle babies. Hi, sweet girl. They might have to be bottle babies, but I think that they are probably, you know, barring some other sort of thing, the risks of birth have kind of passed and they're going to be okay. So key takeaways for goat kidding in winter, I would say, is make sure that you are there for the kidding. I would say having a blow dryer and towels is huge, and having some sort of warmer for the babies to be in, like this, where this is just an upturned garbage can. Like I said, I'll link below to where you can make one yourself if you want to make it out of a barrel or something different. But those, I'd say, were the keys to success. And then the other things that I had were just kind of, you know, things that I showed you earlier in this video were things that you pretty much always have on hand for kidding. You know, things like backup colostrum and tubes for feeding and stuff like that. So overall, gosh, they're so cute. Oh my goodness, you too. Yes. Overall, it went pretty well. And I mean, the only thing that could have gone better is if she was a decent mom and was going to take care of her babies, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to give it just another couple days here like this, and then probably it's Friday now, so I'll probably give her through the weekend to see if she's going to become maternal. It's probably not going to happen. Just to see, and then I will probably just move her out of here and put her in with the other goats and just milk her twice a day and feed out the babies for the next probably 8 to 10 weeks or so. And then eventually, once they are old enough to not need her milk anymore, and hopefully our other goat will be kidding not long after that, and hopefully she'll be a better mother, I will have this girl up for sale. So if you are watching this within, you know, it's late January 2021, and you're interested in a registered Nubian doe, and you don't mind having to bottle feed babies, if that's kind of your farm structure, hit me up because she is going to be available. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you are going to be kidding in winter, I hope this video is helpful for you. Like I said, this is my first and God willing the last time I have to deal with this. It's like 10 degrees in here. My fingers are freezing and I'm ready to go back in. So I'm going to put these babies back on again one more time before I go in, and then I'm going to milk her out a little bit here just to make sure everything's flowing really well. And then I'm going to head on in, and I'll be back out here to help them nurse again in another 4 hours. So thanks for watching. We always appreciate it. If you like, subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and I hope that these videos are helpful or educational or just, you know, kind of funny. Who knows? I have new videos every single week and 2 vlog posts every single week about farming, family food, and fortitude here at our rough and tumble farmhouse.